Hi, welcome to the Ambari class. So we will start from scratch and today we will discuss what is Ambari, then we will discuss what is Hadoop, then types of managing tools, then architecture of Ambari. So what is Ambari? So before that we will discuss a history of Ambari. So Ambari is a late 2000 Ambari basically introduced in a late 2012, and after that Ambari became a Apache Hadoop project and graduated from there in 2013. Now Ambari was a first of its own kind of managing tools these days, who is helping us to playing around with the Hadoop, and generally Ambari supports a 64-bit of system. So what is Ambari now? So Ambari is basically a browser-based management interface, and Apache Ambari is a tool for provisioning, managing, and monitoring. So this Ambari dashboard gives us a privilege to play with your clusters using provision, using managing, using monitoring. So this gives us a browser-based management interface. So Ambari having three major operations, we can say that: provision, manage, and monitoring. Provision, we can provision a different kind of servers in the same cluster setup. Like we can access or we can create Negio server, we can create a Ganglia servers, we can create a secondary name node and all that. So Ambari is basically responsible for installing of Hadoop cluster irrespective of cluster sizing and number of nodes. Ambari uses REST APIs to automate installation of the clusters, and it also automates the configuration of cluster very easily through the web front. Then integration with the other tools. Ambari provide basically a REST APIs to connect it with the different tools available in the market like Teradata, HP, Microsoft Operations. So as per our IT requirement, these REST APIs help us to integrate some other tools. As we already know, Teradata, HP, Microsoft, so we can integrate these tools with our Ambari infrastructure. And then we will move on to the monitoring part. We, so it provides us a basic or good quality of data and dashboard for monitoring the status and health of Hadoop cluster, and it also uses Ambari matrices and alert system to gather the information about the systems and alert administration and about and related that issues. And it also provides us a central management of services for starting, stopping, and reconfiguration. We can start our server, we can stop our servers under the manage, and it basically simplifies the whole process of management. Then what is Hadoop? Hadoop is a free Java-based programming framework that supports the processing of large data sets of distributed computing environment. And this is a part of Apache project these days, and it will help you to collect so many data nodes or number of nodes and make a cluster of that, and then you can distribute your data on that and then play around with that. And Ambari web and display information such as service specific summaries and graph and alert. You can see in under the dashboard these things. What are the types of managing tools? So type of managing tool, we have so many tools in that: web-based data collection, map reduce programming, then moving a data, monitoring, then analysis of SQL, ETL. So I already given one liner of that: highly extensible and scalable open source web software project. And Solar is basically a standalone full text search server, and HBase is a NoSQL database. And Oozy is used for the workflow data management and coordination of those workflows, manage and direct acyclic graph of that actions. Scoop is usually basically used for the transfer a data between Hadoop and the relational database. And Nagios is used for the network monitoring tool. Impala is used for the SQL queries engine, work for both analytical and as well as transactional. Now let's talk about the minimum requirement. So hardware requirement, there is no single set of hardware requirement for that. Ambari is used 64-bit of systems. So for example, if you have a SUSE, you can use a 64-bit of that, and Red Hat 6, 5, 7 you can use, CentOS 5, 6 and 7 you can use. Browser requirement, as we already know that Ambari is a web GUI, web based tool. So what we need a good quality or a higher upgrade version of browsers. So if you are using a Mac OS X, you can use Firefox latest stable version, and if you are using a Linux, you can use Firefox, Google, and Windows you can use Internet Explorer 9, 10. These days you can use 11 also. Firefox latest stable release. Safari you can use the Google Chrome, the stable version. Or then software requirement. What kind of software requirement before proceeding? You need a yum, then you need a rpm, scp, curl, wget. Database requirement, if you have already a database, you just need to connect on that. You can just integrate with that Ambari server. If you don't have, Ambari gives you a privilege to go with the default option. If you have a Hive or a Edge catalog requires a MySQL database for it use, you can choose to use a current instance, or you can use a Ambari default one. Just now we will talk about the architecture. In architecture, we have Ambari Web, we have Ambari servers, we have Ambari agent, which is installed in all the host, and we have a different host. So basically, Ambari have two components: Ambari server and Ambari agent. Ambari server is basically a master process which communicates with Ambari agent and installed on each participant in the cluster. This has Postgres database instance. So Ambari server is installed on any node outside the cluster from where it can access the entire cluster for installation and configuration. And Ambari is a tool to manage a monitor a Hadoop cluster. And Ambari also send a heartbeat to servers to let know that the node is available for performing a task. And Ambari agent also run on the nodes which perform a different operation and tasks the order from the Ambari server itself. Ambari also collects a different matrices from the nodes which include cluster details, hardware details like RAM, users, space utilization. Ambari web shows all the information in the form of graphs and it consists Ambari server, Ambari agent, matrix collectors and alert mechanism. Ambari web. Now we will discuss on Ambari web. Ambari web, it is a web front end from where we do all the tasks and administrations, and it had different tabs for services and host of monitoring and managing them. And this is Ambari server. So Ambari server runs on any one managing node which controls all the agent running on all the other nodes. And then we will discuss on this is agent. The agent are responsible for taking the task from server and getting them executed on the nodes. And agent should be running on all the other nodes where we need to deploy the services. So wherever the services are required, we need a agent for that. So for example, we have a 10 host, we need a 10 agent. If we have a 15 hosts, we need a 15 agent for that. And you can set up your Ambari server outside of cluster in a real world. Generally we are not using the same set of cluster. We are deploy our Ambari outside from the cluster for the best practice. Bye bye, take care.